Hey, what's going on, everyone? Another episode of Past the 40. I have Kimberly Hannwacker here with me today. Kim, how you doing?
I'm doing okay considering the weather.
Where is the weather that you're calling from?
Currently, I'm in Chicago, and it is pretty awful. It was snowing just a few days ago, then it was warm, and now it's back to awful.
But was it also like 70 degrees a few days ago in between the snow and the mediocre?
Yes,
Because that's
yes,
what's going on here.
yes. Not
And
fun.
I see you have two dogs running around the apartment over there.
Yes.
For
So
for
my,
those of you watching on video, you can see. For those of you audio, if you hear any barking or rumbling in the background, that's what we got going on. Are you ready? Are you ready and excited for your 40 questions?
I'm very excited. Nervous. I don't know why, but very excited at the same time.
It's all right. That happens a lot, and you'll lose those nerves in a couple questions, I promise.
Okay.
So let's just get right into it. And speaking of those dogs, what are the names of your two little puppies?
So the one that's sitting in my lap, the rat terrier, his name is Razor, which is named after my husband's biker moniker. And then I have a little Maltese, and his name is Mello after Carmelo Anthony.
Okay, so first, is your husband an actual biker, or does he just have a moniker?
No, he's from the West Coast,
Yeah.
so he born and raised there, and he's been riding motorcycles since he's 16, and so he's a Harley guy, and he definitely is like full on Harley all the way. That's all he wears when he's not at work is Harley gear, so there's no question that that's the bike he rides.
Right. And his crew calls him Razor.
Yes.
Okay, so that's dog number one. And Mello after Carmelo Anthony. Are you a Knick fan?
I way back in the day when I watched more sports, because I'm not really a sports person, even though for a brief period of time I worked at Barclays Center with the Nets, and I enjoy watching games, but I'm really not into them, so I'm not a diehard fan, so I can't really tell you all these statistics and this, that, and the other. So, but I do like Carmelo Anthony because the times that I've been able to go to the games, I've had very good seats, and he's just got this, when he was with the Knicks, he had a certain look that he would have on his face, and my dog does the same look. So that's why I was like, oh, this makes sense.
So the dog actually reminded you of Carmelo Anthony's face.
Yeah, sometimes because my dog Mello will do something once in a while, and he knows that it's not the right thing, but he gives you this snarky look, and I'm like, oh, I've seen that look before.
On Carmelo Anthony. All right, great. Your Instagram handle is Awful Asian. Please explain.
Okay, so I'm adopted, and the family that I was raised in is German and Italian. So I start off by saying that because fast forward, years later, I am working at the Comedy Cellar, and obviously there's a lot of comics around, and it's my first job in New York, and a few comics are just hanging out at the comic table, and they're just asking me all these questions, just being exactly what you think they're going to be like, and they're like, oh, so it's in a California roll, what's this, and do you know how to use chopsticks, and computer questions, but they're, busting balls for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just, I have no idea, so I was just kind of like, no, I swear, I really, I don't know. And then, so the banter would go on and on and on. And then one of my favorite comedians, Russ Maneve, just one day just turned around and he goes, are you awful at being Asian? I said, actually, yeah, I really am awful at being Asian. I know nothing other than, the lunch special, 2 at, Lucky Chang's or whatever.
Right.
And so then from that point on, he was just like, from now on, you're just going to be awful Asian. So between my last name being Hannwacker and Awful Asian, those are the only two names pretty much at the cellar they would call me.
All right, took it and ran with it. Good stuff. Yeah. So what took you from Brooklyn to Chicago?
So I was, like I said, living in Brooklyn, and I love Brooklyn. My father's from Brooklyn, so it's, I can't love it more than the next, I don't know, just like obsessed with it. I don't know if that sounds right. But 3 years ago, I met my husband and fell totally in love with him. He's just a spectacular, like beyond spectacular human. And not unfortunately, he lives and works out of Chicago. So I said, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? I said, I love Brooklyn, but here's this once in a lifetime moment. I can't let it pass me by. So I chose my husband, which I'm sure he's happy with, hopefully.
That's why you said you left one love for another love.
Yep.
If you could teach a high school class on any subject, what would it be?
I would say creative writing, I think. If that's just because I loved that class when I was in school, but I just feel that even if you don't want to be a writer, or even if you don't think that you're very good at it, I think it could help you a lot. It's almost therapeutic for people to write things because kind of daydream with a pen.
Do you write currently?
I do. Not really a journal. I don't know if it's, sorry. We're gonna let them go nuts. I write, and I write, I think, for myself, but it's not necessarily a journal where it's like, this happened today and so on and so forth. It's a lot of things that have happened to me younger that I kind of wanted to face in a way. Mm-hmm. So I kind of just write about them and how they make me feel. So I kind of like say, okay, this happened, and shove it away somewhere.
For sure. What's a skill that you want to acquire in the next 40 years?
So I would like, because I just started doing this, and I think that it's super important, and I think it'll help me hopefully stay younger, is letting go of things that just don't matter, situations, even, in the unfortunate times when it's people in your life, just, and it doesn't have to be a dramatic thing, it doesn't have to be sad or anything. It's just kind of just walking away from that and just letting go of things that just make you feel anything but happy.
Words to live by. What working at the Comedy Cellar, obviously you came across a lot of funny people. Who's the funniest person you ever come across? And it doesn't have to even be a comedian there. It can be somebody in your day-to-day life.
Well, I would say, that's a tough question when you think about talent that's out there, especially when the time that I was there, just because, when I was there, Dave Chappelle was coming in every night, Chris Rock, and just Kevin Hart, just amazing people. But actually, at the end of the day, the funniest person I know is my mother.
Really?
Is that, I know that sounds super corny, but she has just a personality that really keeps you grounded. She's very Italian, but there's nobody that makes me laugh as hard as she does to date. It was, when I was younger, it was milk that was coming out my nose, right. Now it's wine that's coming out my nose.
Sure.
So she's by far definitely the funniest.
Awesome. We'll have to have her. We'll have to have her on a podcast one time. What I noticed from following you on social media now, you and I think your husband dine out a lot.
Yes.
What would you have for your last meal?
My last meal, I would say, would be a huge steak topped with pizza.
Is that a thing, or you're just like combining your favorites into one
I would
massive
figure,
meal?
In this day and age where people create so many crazy things with food, I feel like that's just the next thing that's going to happen. So I'm just going to get in front of it and say steak and pizza.
The stizza. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. How old were you when you found out you were adopted?
So that's kind of a tough question, because I think my parents told me when I was very young. I'm talking before 5, just because, I'm going to be going to kindergarten now, and obviously I look a little different than my parents, but mm-hmm. I don't think I actually realized it when it actually made sense to me with what actually adoption meant. I guess I would say maybe first grade, because I was getting on the bus and the kids were like, "You're Chinese." I'm like, "What's that?" I didn't understand. It didn't make any sense to me. And on top of that, it was just I'm Korean, and so I'm just like, that's like what we eat for dinner. How am I Chinese? So then I had to go home, and my parents had to retell me, and they've been retelling me every day ever since.
Right. Have you ever met your birth parents?
No. I was from an orphanage somewhere in South Seoul, Korea. Okay. And when I came over, I was about maybe 1.5, I think, ish. And a stewardess actually went for my parents to pick me up, and she brought me back over and kind of like hand delivered me.
Wow.
It's pretty spectacular.
That is something.
Yeah.
How did you celebrate your 21st birthday?
Actually, I kind of don't remember.
For a good reason, or?
Well, I think probably 21. I was really trying to think 21. I would definitely say it's probably because maybe a Fridays thing was happening, very Jersey-esque type of.
What was the context of when you were 21? Were you in Jersey? Were you in college? What were you doing?
I was in Jersey and going to community college, and kind of working and just kind of figuring things out, but definitely spending more time in New York than I was in Jersey. Mm-hmm. If it makes any sense, just because I think I wanted to get out as fast as I could.
Right. One big blur, the early 20s.
I would say the 20s, just that whole decade.
20s period. All right. Sounds fun. What are you afraid of, if anything?
I think I'm afraid of running out of time. 40 is very young. I realize how young it is. But at the same time, people say, oh, when you turn 40, the knees go, your eyes go. I'm like, no. That's, I'm somewhat healthy. I try to pretend to eat healthy. I take care of myself. But the minute I turn 40, I now have to wear glasses. My knees, I have to think twice if I need to pick something up off the floor. I'm like, do I really need that? Mm-hmm. And so I realized my body's not going, but, getting older. So now I'm starting to think, oh, my goodness, do I have enough time to really do the things that I want to do? And maybe I don't know. So that's what I'm scared of.
Running out of time for just not looking back and not having crossed enough things off the list.
Yeah. And I feel like even at 40, I feel like you're still putting things on the list because all of a sudden,
for sure.
I think probably for most people, right? I mean, you become a certain age and then you're like, oh, I'm more myself than I was last year. Definitely more yourself now than you were 20 years ago. So the things that you want to do are definitely different.
Yeah.
So the bus is longer, but your life gets shorter. You're like, how's that fair?
And priorities change, and what was important to you last time is not important to you now. Totally with you. So, one quote that I've heard recently that I really like is, you don't need more time. You need to decide. So you really need to think about. We're bringing the heat here. You just have to really think what's important to make sure that you actually get to those things. Because I hear you. I mean, time is certainly, as we get older, something we have to consider.
I know.
Sucks. Damn it. Now we're depressed.
I know. Where's the wine? What time is it?
If you could have a drink with any historical figure, who would it be?
I think about this often, and I kind of probably daydream about it way too much. So it kind of changes. Right now, I would say Billie Holiday.
Nice. Why?
And I'm just obsessed. I saw Lady Day on Broadway a few years ago, and I knew a little, what I read on Wikipedia and just little things here and there about her. Just her music is so good, and she just had such a crazy life, and it's just so sad. But I don't know, just there's something about her that just is so intriguing that I just want to just know more about her. Just little things like what's her favorite color. I don't know why that means so much to me, but it just to know would be awesome.
Cool. Well, it's definitely the first time we've had Billie Holiday as an answer to that question. So good stuff. Who is your celebrity crush if you have one?
Mariska Hargitay. Oh my God, she's awesome. Do you watch Law and Order SVU?
Nope.
Okay, the show's been on for 20 years. I'm sure I'll be on for another 20.
Right. I've heard of it.
She's just amazing. She's beautiful. She's a strong woman. She doesn't take shit from anybody. She's definitely one of the few women that's had a leading role in a TV show for this long, and she just does a lot of great things for people. And I don't know. And she's definitely gorgeous.
Say her name again.
Mariska Hargitay.
Got it.
Her mother was James Mansfield.
Okay. So it's in the genes?
It's probably, yeah, I feel like she was beautiful, so it's definitely going to pass on. Yeah.
If I talk to your best friend, how would he or she finish the sentence? I love Kim. She is the greatest, but I wish she was a little less blank.
A little less, probably a little less, what's the word I'm looking for? Pushover. A little less, yeah. I'm a pushover, so I don't really stand my ground.
Is that right?
Yeah. I hate confrontation.
Okay.
People, so sometimes, even when I used to manage, I'd be like, hey, don't do that. That's not right to, stick your finger in your nose while you're delivering a tray of food. And they'd be like, oh, I want to. And I'd say, okay, sure.
All right, just don't rub it on the customer.
Yeah, it's just do it maybe where they don't see you at the table.
Okay, so you need to be a little more firm in your ways.
Yeah, which is, I think at this point, I just kind of, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Right, not high on the priority list of things to cross off.
No.
What's a book that everyone should read?
I would say The Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Who wrote that? And
his name is Stephen, and I can never pronounce his last name, but it's this book right here. I have it.
Why do you like it?
So it's just I love coming of age stories in general. So even anything from Can't Hardly Wait to Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist, just anything that's kid related. But this one in particular is just definitely, deals with a little bit of more of a darker side of things. There's suicide in there, and there's, it's just really sad, but so good, and what we should really pay attention to, I think. And I don't have kids, but if I had a kid, I'd be like, oh my God, talk to me.
I have two. I can I can bring them onto our next Skype call. You can tell them. Yeah. Next time they're getting a little too much to handle, just be like, hey, talk to my friend Kim.
Yeah, I got it. Totally under control.
You wrote that you just started flying recently, meaning like you've never been on a plane until, is it like till this Brooklyn-Chicago romance?
So I used to, I was on planes when I was younger, but that's when I didn't really understand what death was. It's kind of like, oh, I'm going to live forever no matter what I do. And then then actually the 9/11 happened, and then my fear of death and flying and just a lot of things just started happening. And then I waited a very long time to actually get on a plane. Mm-hmm. And in fact, I would pass up things for work opportunities because I would say, I'm not going to, I don't care how much, I'm just not going. And then, I met my husband, and he's like, oh, I'll fly out to Chicago. And I'm thinking, when you first meet somebody, you don't want to look like like a wuss. So I'm kind of like, yeah, sure, I'm going to totally get on that plane. So I would drink 2 bottles of wine at the French Roast because it's open to 4 a.m. and then get on the plane. And that wasn't good for anybody around me, but he never knew.
You made it there, but still, you're still scared of flying.
I'm terrified. So now I've learned to keep it all in. So I feel bad. My husband, who's so nice and so social, he wants to talk the entire time. So we're last time we went to Hawaii, which is a very long trip.
Yeah.
He wants to talk, and I have my headphones on. I'm like, don't look at me, don't talk to me.
Just like head down, get me to land.
Exactly. I focus the entire time on my shoe.
Well, if flying wasn't a thing and you could live on any continent permanently, not North America, where would it be?
I've never been to Italy, but I think I'd want to live there.
Okay.
Just because I love food, and food is there, I heard, is crazy good, and I've known a lot of people that have gone there, and the whole wine thing, I heard the wine is better over there.
Yeah, I mean,
I sound like a really attractive person right now.
Hey, you are what you are, and you're talking to the right crowd, at least with me, because I've been to Italy, and I can confirm food and wine are both outstanding.
Oh my God, is it hard to eat there and then come back here and then eat Italian food or even drink the wine?
Hard? No, I get into it. See, I think that Italian food is like in New York is really good, and I think even the little holes in the wall places you can find pretty quality Italian. Mm-hmm. But it is a different level that's like very obvious when you go there.
It's just like a whole experience.
Yeah, wine, I don't know. I don't have such a discerning palate with wine. Mm-hmm. You should talk to my wife. She's more of a wine connoisseur in our family.
Good. Can't wait to drink wine with her.
Yeah, totally. We both have experience. I studied abroad when I was in college in Florence, and she studied abroad. Obviously, we weren't together this time, but she studied abroad in Rome. So we both have a little Italy in our history.
Oh, that's so cute. Aw.
You got to get out there. It's not
That's it. After this, I'm going.
Yeah, I mean, if you made the flight to Hawaii, you can't. It's not that much. It's not that much longer.
No.
A little bit.
Don't tell me.
If you were going to a deserted island, what 3 movies would you take with you? Let's assume that you ended up there on a boat rather than a plane, so it wasn't that much of a disaster, and you weren't totally shell shocked.
Mm-hmm. 3 movies. Oh, this is definitely a good one. Top 5 by Chris Rock.
Okay.
Say Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Okay. And
I'd have to say Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist.
That is an interesting trio right there.
They make absolutely no sense, but they're all in New York.
You're a real New Yorker at heart. How much do you miss it on a regular basis now that you're in Chicago?
So I'm sure my husband and everybody, all my friends here, probably cannot stand me saying this, but I mean, you have to understand it's my home, and
sure.
Granted, don't get me wrong, not going to forget my Jersey roots because my parents moved there when I was 5 or 6. But my family, my mother and father both are, Corona Queens in East New York, and just always go there. So I miss it literally every day. Because Chicago, there's so many similar things, not the same, but similar, where I'm just, and if you're constantly reminded of the thing that you miss, it's impossible for you not to think about it. And does that make sense?
Yeah, I get it.
Oh, good. You're the only one.
Tell me about your marriage proposal. How did Razor throw it down?
So interesting. We went very fast. I think it raised a lot of eyebrows because we started dating in April of 2015. So by the time August came around, we were, he one of his properties that he oversees is the U.S. Open in Flushing.
Okay.
So, and I'm working there with him as well. So it's one of the nights where, you actually have some time to yourself, and we're at Chelsea Market, we're drinking wine, of course. And we were just speaking about the future and things and so on and so forth. And we just it just kind of happened where we started talking about marriage, even though it's very short into the relationship. And then that was the beginning of August. And then by August 26th, we were working, and then he goes, "We got to go." And I was like, "Okay, where we going?" And he took me to the oh my God, why am I drawing having a brain fart? Where the Sphere is, and the World's Fair.
Like by the US Open, you mean? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
So
the World's Fair.
He took me there just because, he's a very good listener. I always how that place is very special to me, even though I can't remember the name right now. But my mother's from Corona, and when we would come into the city a lot, we would always go there and play. And so he brought me there, and he surprised me with a proposal there. And I was I didn't know what to do, and I don't know, I got nervous. I get nervous and I get a lot of spit in my mouth for some reason. And it's really attractive, and then my hands start to sweat, and so I'm just like, he's putting the ring on, and I'm like all sweaty and clammy.
Right, nice.
I'm like, this is what you're getting into.
Were you shocked that it happened like so fast, or after that Chelsea Market conversation, you kind of knew that it was in the cards?
Well, it's like I knew it was in the cards, and we were, and he's, he wanted to he got the ring in New York, and I knew that was happening, but I didn't realize that it was going to happen that soon. I thought it was going to be, we talked about it and we're good to go, and and he'll just spring it on me whenever. But for it to happen that day was kind of like, oh, okay, this is totally happening. Weird.
And then did you pick up and move to Chicago right then?
Well, so we started dating in April, you want to laugh, and then I moved out to Chicago in June.
Oh wow! So you had already made a big leap towards life in that direction. All right.
Yes. But you know what? Chicago has a bacon festival, so I mean, very excited about that.
Easy sell. What's a piece of advice you would give to your 20-year-old self?
The 20-year-old self, I would say if I was talking to myself, I would say, be nicer to your parents and call them more and spend more quality time with them. Don't call them when you're drunk.
Have you been nicer to your parents?
Yes, I would say that
later in life.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, I think that I was pretty much an asshole as a kid. I won't say that I'm the worst kid out of all three, or all four. But I think I had a lot of issues, which is on me. But you don't realize it when you're a kid. When you're a kid, you're like, it's all about me, and I know everything, and I'm gonna conquer the world, and you're my parents, but you suck. And I think, and even in my 20s and even early 30s, I think that in the past 10 years, I would say, I've definitely, I see my parents in a different light now. I think they deal with things with my other brothers and so on. So they have challenges, let's just say, and they're amazing people. And I think that there's just so much light and goodness in them that I wish that I saw it when I was younger. But I see it now, and I feel like that's going back to not having enough time. I feel like there's not enough time left in my life to show them how much I really love them.
I hear you. Gotta get on it.
Right.
Especially now that you guys live in different places, it's
definitely rough. That's why we bought an Alexa, the screen one. So I call my mom constantly.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's probably like, oh my God, leave me alone. You're stalking me at this point. But
right.
I'm like, I know what you're doing.
If you had to delete all but 3 apps from your phone, which 3 would you keep?
I would keep my Spotify, and my Google Maps, because I don't know how to get around here because there's no subways. You actually have to like drive.
All right.
And then a third one, my find friends, because that's how I know where my mom and dad are at all times.
Like find the right, like you basically track them?
Yeah, we track each other. I snuck myself into my mom's phone,
Yeah.
and then I got her location, and then one day I'm like, so what were you doing in Freehold, New Jersey?
Well, what's something you tried that you'll never try again?
Something that I tried. Public speaking. No. I tried I can't even, if it's 3 people, I start to get a little nervous, and then more than that, it's just, I think you have to change my underwear. It's like so bad.
Well, that's like a super common fear. But you seem more than willing to engage in this. This is public speaking in a way, no?
Yeah, but you can't really see the people eyeballing or the, huffing and puffing or the arms crossed and, all that stuff. And, I don't really have to, this is a little different just because I'm talking about just me. So there's really no wrong answer, hopefully.
Right.
But when you're in front of people trying to, let's say, just train them or something, and then, you make one slip up, it's just, forget about it. It's just a lot. The thoughts like being myself, I'm like, yeah.
It's I think it's Jerry Seinfeld that said, that public speaking is like the number one fear over death. So at a funeral, people would rather be in the coffin than giving the eulogy.
I 100% agree. I'm with them.
What's the best or a great compliment that you've received that stands out?
That I'm nice.
Okay.
No, it sounds like a simple thing, but someone said that they thought that I was genuinely like just a nice person. Especially concerning I didn't think that I was for a very long time. So for someone to say that, I'm like, oh wow.
Well, I think you just called your 20-year-old self an asshole. So at some point you must have made a switch over. Who told you that you were nice?
There's actually a few people, just because I was in a situation at work and I was leaving to move on, and people generally felt that I helped them in areas with their life or so on and so forth. Just really cute little, not cute, sincere things, and I really there were tears happening. I mean, I know it's my last day of work and all, but I mean, people normally don't, especially in this day and age, they could care less. Like your managers, they're like, all right, beat it, buddy. Who's the next person? So I mean,
right.
I felt like I had somewhat of an impact on some people's lives, and that
awesome.
It made me feel good.
I think you're nice so far.
Thank you.
We still have a handful of questions to go, so it could change, but so far you're doing all right.
Okay.
I notice you use the hashtag midlife crisis often, if not always. Are you okay? And are you in it right now? I
think so. I would say that I call it a midlife crisis just because I think it's almost silly, and it's not. How do I phrase this? Okay, so because social media as a whole is kind of funny, right? It started off as a thing where you kind of keep in touch with people, then it became something else, and now who knows what the hell it is? It's marketing. It's this, it's that. So every time I post a picture, I realize how ridiculous I must look or seem, and I'm thinking I'm going through a midlife crisis because I'm like I feel the need to post what I'm eating, and I need to show people what I'm wearing, and I'm just kind of like and I feel that maybe the 10-year-old self of me would have been like, you're an idiot. Why are you doing that? So that's why I think midlife crisis.
So essentially, anyone middle-aged who's posting on any social media outlets is essentially in a midlife crisis, according to this definition.
Yes. Sorry. Everyone's gonna hate me now.
I have to reconsider everything.
No. You gotta embrace it, though. That's the thing.
I know.
That's why I say I realize what this looks like, and it's exactly what you think it is.
All right. What's the best Eddie Murphy movie?
The best Eddie Murphy movie. Yeah. Don't laugh, but I really love him in Dreamgirls. I don't know if that really is an Eddie Murphy movie, though.
He was in it, so yeah, I get it. I mean, you could say that maybe, is that your favorite Eddie Murphy performance? Or that movie you like better than... You like Dreamgirls better than Coming to America?
No, actually you're right. It wasn't thinking. Coming to America is so good and classic. Can I take that back and say Coming to America?
I will let you have this one due to the technicality that Dreamgirls is not fully an Eddie Murphy movie.
Okay. And actually, Coming to America, that's almost like my life story. I came to America as well, so we're like twins at this point.
There you go. That movie is basically biographical about
you.
Exactly.
Yeah. I shouldn't. How to forget that?
Were you the princess of Seoul, Korea?
Yeah. Yeah, for the most part, I think. I pretend I was. I don't know.
Would you rather have 25 years left with zero regrets or 50 years left with many?
um, 25 years left with zero regrets. I
Want
think. Yeah.
to cross those things off your list. That time thing, though.
Yeah, it's tough. I'm like each day I got to do something crazy.
Yeah, well, that's not a bad way to live, regardless. What's something that all 40-year-olds should go and do or try, like ASAP?
I think if you haven't done it, every 40-year-old should go and skinny dip at least once in their lifetime. Free.
In any body of water, or does a pool in their backyard count?
Yeah. Yeah, just I mean, don't get arrested for it. I mean, don't do it at a kid's playground. I mean,
well, that would be weird. That's great advice here. Everyone listening, if you take anything away from this episode, there it is. No skinny dipping in kid playgrounds. Who is someone who is someone that should be a guest on this podcast?
Could it be a famous person or just someone that I know?
Could be anything you want.
Really?
Yeah.
But they'd have to be 40, right?
Around there.
Oh, okay. So I would say, oh, I apologize that I'm definitely blowing my friend John Myers. He is one of my longest friends, but he has lived a life that I can't even. He's probably one of the most interesting people that I know.
Great.
He's amazing. He's a little north of 40, but you know what? He looks like south of 30.
Really?
I don't know what he's drinking or what wizard he blew. I'm not sure, but he's a very lucky man.
I want to talk to him just even off air. Just he sounds fantastic. If you could relive a single day from your past exactly as it happened the first time, what day would you choose to experience all over again?
So on September 29th of 2008, I did my first comedy show that I produced with a friend of mine named Jimmy Celeste. It was for the ASPCA, so anything for the dogs and cats.
Yeah, great.
And, we did it at a place called Comics Comedy Club, which I later would work at.
That was in the meatpacking?
Yeah, right on 14th.
I know. I've been there. I saw. I want to say I saw JB Smoove there and Amy Schumer opened for him.
Yeah.
Like before she was known.
Actually, funny enough, she was one of the performers I had on that showcase. So it was called Sit, Stay, and Stand Up for the ASPCA.
Cool.
It was talking about a bucket list when I was younger. I was always like, I'm going to produce a show and it's going to be the greatest thing in the world. But when I was younger, I'm thinking, it's going to be a MSG. But I mean, baby steps. But
sure.
It was something that I was able to start from an idea with somebody and finish all the way to the end. So when the actual day of the show came around, I was like threw up probably 3 times. The whole palm thing and the spitting when I'm talking. It was really embarrassing, but everybody that was booked on the show came, all the sponsors came, all the money came in. We raised a lot of money for them, and it just everything was so perfect. And it's the first day I actually felt what it was like to feel like I accomplished something.
Awesome.
So, I'll never forget that. So
everything came together. Did you have to speak in front of the crowd that day?
Actually, funny enough, I did, and I have a picture of it because I threw up in the green room 2 minutes before I had to go do it. And my friend Jimmy Celeste said, "Oh, you have to go and say thank you." I'm like, "No, I'm not." And so I got sick, then came back out, downed a bottle of I'm making myself sound like such an alcoholic, but I'm not. To get the edge off, went out, and I said thank you, and then ran back. I mean, I looked like an idiot. I probably shouldn't have done it, but whatever.
Well, what's a quirk of yours that few people know about?
So I think I have this really crazy thing of, I don't know if it's a quirk or if it's an actual problem, but when I leave my house, especially since I have my dogs, I have to double check every single block like 3 or 4 times, and that's the front of my house and the back of my house. Then when I leave, I have to check, I'm laughing at myself, I have to check the security camera to make sure that the dogs are okay. Like, so I'm talking like the minute I get outside, and I know that I'm doing it, and yeah, so now everybody knows.
All right, so you have a video camera, like an app on your phone that shows your apartment?
Yeah, well, it's my husband got it for security, like the Nest for a security system, but I've turned it into the
dog viewing.
Yeah.
All right.
So I have a huge problem with that. I don't know.
But when you check the locks from the inside, or once you go out, you like check every key to make sure it's locked?
And then I push on the door to make sure that it's not going to open because I'm terrified of the dogs getting out.
Right, but so when you leave, the dogs are like, wait, is she going or staying or coming back, or is she back or is she gone?
I probably make it worse for
Drive
them.
them crazy.
Yeah. So I'm an idiot is what it comes down to.
When did you quit smoking, and how's it going?
So I quit smoking officially when I moved out here. So
almost 3 years?
Yeah.
How's it going?
So it's kind of I still have a lot of cravings, but I started smoking when I was 12, which is not this. It's kind of disgusting that I'm saying that, but I don't think I was inhaling them. But I think when I got older, I actually started inhaling. But yeah, it was just it's hard to not want to have a cigarette. But I've done it 3 years. It's definitely done.
Straight through 12 to 37, straight through.
There's a few times I quit for a few months.
Right.
And then, or sometimes I would go like a week or two in there, but never. But I think that I cheated a lot. Like, it doesn't count because I only smoked half of it.
Mm-hmm. What was the ultimate decision to be like, all right, this is finally it? So I'm there's a lot of things that make me weird. But one of the things about smoking, I hate the smell of smoke, but yet I would smoke. Mm-hmm. So when I would do it, I would I'd be like in a body bag, but I'd be smoking a cigarette. There's just a lot of work that had to go into it. Then on top of it, cigarettes are like $18 just to smoke and get yourself sick. So it's kind of like, I'd be like, why am I doing this? It's so stupid. And then then I just. Well, congratulations. It's not an easy thing. You're frozen here. All right, now you're back.
Sweet. Oh, is this still there? Okay, I see you. Okay.
Let me make a note. All right, so video-wise, I don't know if I'm going to edit that out, but audio, I'll get to it.
Okay.
What's something that you're great at?
It's gonna sound so stupid. I think, anyway, that I'm great at really making people feel good and important.
How do you do that?
I like to show appreciation, so and really mean it. So I feel that some people just kind of just say things and whatever, but I feel that when, if between me and, let's say, my husband, if something happens spectacular, I'm really good at, relaying it, not in a, with words, but with just, I don't know if I'm explaining this right.
I'm not sure you are either, but I understand what you're saying nonetheless.
People are gonna be like, what the hell is this girl talking about? Have another glass of wine.
Like, she's not making me feel good right now. What are you talking about?
Yeah, right. I guess you know what it is? It's like I like to, when people are having, also, if someone's having just a bad day or if they're at a bad point in their life, I'm really good at, helping them, look on the more positive side and kind of, I guess that's where I'm really going.
Yeah. That's a great skill to be great at.
Because some people just say the things, the go-to things,
sure.
Like, oh, it'll get better. Oh, I don't necessarily say those things. I just look at the situation with them and really try to listen to understand, not just to reply. So I think that's a thing that I do.
Let's say you have to go on a road trip from Chicago to Tallahassee.
Mm-hmm.
And you're bringing 3 people in the car with you. Who are they? Not family members.
But it could be famous people that I don't even know.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm just gonna go all famous people because people that I know would be just too hard. So I'd say Tamara Hall. From she does. I'm obsessed with her. I'd say Chris Rock.
Okay.
And Joe Kenda.
Who is that?
He has this. He's a homicide hunter on ID channel. And the guy just solves so many, murder mysteries and cases and so on and so forth. But the guy reminds me of an uncle that you wish you had, that you're like, oh, Uncle Joe's going to be there. You can't wait to see him. And then you just, get him in a corner and you talk to him for the whole entire family party.
Fun Uncle Joe, just tons of stories.
You should check out an episode. It's called Homicide Hunter. I promise you will not be let down.
Homicide Hunter. So he's a real homicide detective.
Yeah, he is. He's was on the force for like 50 years, and he tells you in detail about all his cases, and it's nuts. But the guy's got a very dry sense of humor. Actually, no sense of humor. But it's just like the way he tells his stories. It's pretty amazing. So those three people are very different, but I think that they'd be so interesting to sit in a car with.
Joe
dull moment.
Joe Kenda?
Yep.
All right, I'm going to check him out.
All right.
If you could have any musical artist, solo or group, perform at your next birthday party, who would it be?
Counting Crows.
All right. Didn't have to think twice about that one.
No, they're like Adam Duritz is my lyrical soulmate.
He's your guy?
Yeah.
What's a great piece of advice that you've been given?
That I've been given?
Yeah.
Is it's not that, don't take yourself that seriously. Just because because I feel like if you can't, the way it's from my mom, because she's like, it's not that serious. Really just learn to, relax, because you're making everything so dramatic all the time. Life is not that dramatic, only if you make it that way. So stop being so serious. You're going to age yourself. And I was like, oh, I don't want to age myself, so don't.
There you go. That was the key right there. If you could work for any person in the world, who would it be, and what job would you want?
Oh, you know what? I'd love to be the assistant to Jeff, the guy for Amazon.
Bezos?
Yes. He took Amazon that sold books to this monster that is taking over the entire world. I mean, to be in a room with him for 10 minutes, I'm sure I feel like overwhelmed. I think
he's supposedly a hard ass, so I don't know if you'd enjoy your time there.
Probably not, but I feel like it would be worth it. It'd be like the Devil Wears Prada, just 1 year, and then I'll feel that much more, full of knowledge.
If you could have personally witnessed one event in history, what would you want to have seen?
The day that they invented wine. How the hell did they decide? I think about those things all the time. They're so silly, but you know what? Who thought, oh, let's get these grapes and mush them and then do all this stuff
and then drink it.
And then drink it.
Yeah.
Like who thought of that? And then when they took that first sip, they must have been like, holy crap, this is amazing. So I would love to witness something spectacular like that, because wine is never going to go away. It's going to be around forever.
That is an outstanding answer. I just want to express my gratitude for that answer, because everyone else says something, really historical, even though that's more historical than anything.
It's going to be here forever.
Right.
Thank you.
Well done. What's a pet peeve of yours?
Anytime someone's selfish, it drives me insane. Whether it could happen I could be watching it from, like, I could be at a restaurant and seeing it happen, or it could just be happening within my family, or it could just, people when they're just selfish, I just want to punch them in their teeth. I really won't do it, but I just, it's mean, when people just only think about themselves and they don't care what it does to everybody else around them.
Right. Well, you don't like confrontation, so punching someone in the teeth is probably not in your wheelhouse. Yeah.
No. I'm just on block when it comes to that.
If you were hosting this podcast, what's a question that you would want to ask other 40-year-olds?
I would ask other 40-year-olds if they also feel this pressure of running out of time as well, just because, some I think that a lot of people I hang out with, not necessarily in my age group, so some of them younger, much older, whatever, but, just curious to know if people think that way as well. Just because, like I said, we're not old by any means, but we are, because that's the way time works. Unfortunately, it goes forward whether you like it or not.
All right.
So just curious to know if they're just completely happy, and when they go, that's it.
I think a lot of people are probably on the same page as you like that with that.
Yeah.
We made it to our final question here, Kim.
Okay.
What song did you choose to play us out of here today, and why did you pick it?
Oh, it was oh my God! Why New Radicals? get what you give, because I really, well, first of all, that video when it first came out, I was just like, this is the most amazing thing ever, and because I thought all the kids were so cool in it. But the song itself, though, just it makes me feel good. But it also some of the lyrics, even though I don't know if I'm right at all by saying this, but yeah, you get what you give out of life. It's kind of, if you're a jerk, it's gonna that's what it's gonna be. I learned that, so you just want to be give what you can and be a good person. So
sounds good.
I feel like everyone should be that way, but they're not.
We don't have to worry about all of them. Just as long as you're doing your thing, staying on the path.
Trying.
now that all your questions are over, the nerves went away right away, right?
Yeah. It's like hanging out, like at a bar.
Exactly. Nice and easy. I appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for asking me. This was definitely a very fun-filled afternoon.
Absolutely. Now it's almost time for wine.
Yes.
So you can,
happy hour could technically start now, but I'll wait.
you can begin to enjoy your evening.
Yeah.
Thanks again. Thanks everyone for listening to another edition or episode of Past the 40 with Kimberly Hannwacker. Thanks, Kim.
You're welcome.